let's get to it on a Monday. What's going on, everybody? Big shout out to the chat. Let's get started for today. A lot to get to, obviously. How about that Doge? Amazing. We're going to have to talk about the crypto. We're going to have to talk about a lot of these things because, they're acting in a way that is very individualistic, very independent, yet we still have patterns and we still have a lot of different setups, things that are, pretty obvious. It's taking time. This stuff has been, doing these delayed reactions. We're going to get into that today. We're going to read the harmonic patterns. We're going to just basically read what's there and then make our analysis from that. So, what's going on? How was everybody's weekend? Shout out to the chat. Happy to see everybody back again. We got a lot, like I said, just after Friday, Thursday and Friday was impressive. That you want to start to pay attention. Up 800 on the Dow. Although today, giving a little back, not too much. Dow's only down a $1.25. S&P's off 22 and Nasdaq's off 170 after being up 4 something. So welcome. Hey, we're here Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 12 noon. If you want to book on Thursday, you got to reach out to Miss Stephanie on the Discord and get connected with her. Go over to here. Of course, go to harmonictrader.com. Become a basic member right on the website, and then click the basic members page. That's where it's all happening. Again, sign up, become a basic member. Take advantage of one of the trials of the software and the books. Speaking of what we're talking about today, reading harmonic patterns. If you want to read about harmonic patterns, if you're brand new, I'm going to suggest hitting up volume 1, but for most people, just go straight to volume 3. And review that material. Most people know the patterns already, but it's the context. It's the type 1, type 2 stuff, the confirmation. All of that is in the back of the book or last third of the book. Check that out. All right, we're done with that. Let's get to it. Quick, before we jump over to crypto, look, the macro market looks like this. Coming out of October, okay, finishing up the month today, this has been the pattern we've identified, this Gartley off of the October lows. Basically, this is the market. This whole pattern is the market right now for it's the current situation. You've got a bearish Gartley inside of a downtrend that's done some back-to-back pattern stuff. And it's, it's absolutely ideal harmonic. If you don't know the harmonic, you're going to get chopped. I got a little chopped last week on Microsoft. I'll get into that in a second because there's probably still an opportunity there. I think I reacted too fast. Meanwhile, other markets, you had the mass capitulation, or at least temporary. Facebook, Amazon, Meta, all dropping hard. Google. That's about as severe as you could see. But Nasdaq right now on the 120, that is the 2-hour or the 4-hour chart, both have the same structure. Here's the 4-hour. This is probably the best immediate intraday chart. So we're clearly at a type 2. Friday took you straight up into a type 2. All right, that was the type 1 correction. I'll go to the Twitter post because this is what we've been outlining, something like this. The problem is there's no confirmation up here. We almost hit HSI, but we didn't register, which is right there. That would have been a better situation, so I'm still watching this. Without confirmation, yes, we can go down again. We could respond off of this Gartley zone, but the larger type 2 doesn't come until we have it. So let's, I'm waiting for that, but not surprised to see this thing chop around and give back something from Friday. I just think that after what happened on Friday, and what happened towards the end of the week, a lot of the big names got washed out, that they're going to have to do some kind of short covering rally. The major market, incredibly, did not sell off when these major names did collapse. So let's stick to it. Let's stick to the patterns. I think, look, for clarity purposes, where the heck's the market going? What's the market doing? Okay, is this a low? Is this bear market going to continue? Okay, I think we need to just stick on the S&P 500, which is probably, I think, the best measure if you're going to combine it between tech and industrials or larger S&P 500 economy to understand what's the market economy doing. Look, we're in a type 2 bullish reversal now. Bullish. And let's just take away everything else. Take away everything. Let's just isolate what we've been talking about. Let's read the pattern. And it's ideal. And we've been saying it's ideal for 2 weeks now, especially when it came back on the retest. Okay, not only did you get confirmation there, you got a check back, and you got a capitulation check back. So S&P 500, if I was looking at any other chart, turn off the news, I'd say, let's go to target 2. 4278, target 2. What are we doing, right? If we're not assessing that as a type 2, completed, confirmed, and we're not looking for target 2, I don't know what we're doing. And look at our indicators. Yeah, we might have a little top off right now, but amplified has yet to register. HSI needs to hit overbought. So this continues until we get some kind of an arrow. 4060, target 1. I think that's possible now. And look, RSI is now above the 50 level. Go to the 50, do some kind of acceleration now. Into where? Into next week maybe. You've got U.S. elections. It should be pretty interesting. Midterm U.S. elections over here is a big deal. It's a big deal for us. And that's something where, you know, even this whole thing can still be in a bear market. And I'm not saying anything other than let's stay within the framework of this pattern, which is we've identified type 1 effectively in June. The return really got going on the breakdown at late August, back down to the full zone. So that's the 1-2 in, shaping up. 4278 would be the top end, but I think, look, until we see something that runs counter to this reaction, some kind of indicator or arrow or whatever, let's go with 4060. 4060 target 1 minimum. So what's that make today? A pause? Sure. Maybe we've got to watch that Gartley on the NASDAQ, but my suspicions tell me that without confirmation, this is just a little pullback reaction. There you go. On the 4-hour, let's stick on the 4-hour. NASDAQ daily is not nearly as nice as S&P. Okay, but I want to wait for the next HSI. Wait for the next HSI. Would helpful if I had my bearish patterns up. 1 second. Hold on, let me change this back. There you go. Had the bearish patterns off. Let's go back to that 4-hour chart. Because these are the levels for the week. This is definitely going to frame out what we should be anticipating. You had a little sell-off this morning trying to wash it out. I don't think so. I think it's going to take more time. You need to get a full measurement. You need to get a full register of HSI, and it just fell shy. It was at 86.10, I think, was this HSI signal. You need 88.6 and higher. So if this is still going to continue, if we're still consolidating in this zone, the hop at 11,787 is possible. That's 280 higher. Looks like we're breaking out. We're coming back around now. Nasdaq's only down 120, folks. Don't be surprised. Look, let's jump over to the big stocks because I'm only going to do the big stocks today. It's Halloween. Happy Halloween to everybody. Trick or treat. Hope you're going to have an enjoyable one. I know we will. And then tomorrow, and I mean tomorrow, you should really hunker down and get ready for an insane 6 weeks. I just think you're on that cusp of having amazing volatile action up and down. Doesn't matter. But I do think there's a lot at stake between now and, say, a week before Christmas where you want these kind of environments. You want activity. You want big up days, and you want big down days. Let's take a look. Here, we know what the deal on NASDAQ is. Probably favorite as high as 11.8 and could still be in a bearish pattern. But this is the thing I'm looking at. Across the board, your big FANG. I don't think there's been a better setup, a better pattern configuration in the FANG, Facebook, call it Meta, probably got to call it Mang now, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google. Forget Netflix, though. I'm still not a fan of Netflix yet. I thought Netflix had a chance to go to 90 like Facebook could go to 116. Maybe not. But Amazon, Apple, Google, let's look at these because Amazon's a 2 of 2 with a massive, massive capitulation on Friday. And this is something, let's get perspective. You're 2 of 2 on that bat pattern. Okay. Check out, you turkey. Hold on 1 second. Let me bring up another chart for Amazon. I don't know why that HSI, it's doing it again. Here's Amazon weekly. What's going on here? Hold up. Reset my time. Oh, there it is. Okay. Just in case, for those that are working on the HPC Pro, if you have a problem with your HSI data, reset the daily. Sorry, set the time to the harmonic patterns template. Been noticing. I don't know if that's just an e-signal thing or not, but it's been happening. You just reset it. It'll calculate it. Look, here's the deal with Amazon. You know you've got a massive 2 of 2 pattern. Right there is the retest, the type 2 on the daily. So is this a massive retest with a pattern that is a critical sign of potential future action? What's the weekly say? We have registered not only that HSI, but that HSI that checked back where all of this at 102.50, maybe as high as 110, is the critical zone on the weekly level of HSI where last week or even Friday's low has to hold. And this is something where maybe you get the check back and then you wait 2 more weeks, 2 more bullish candles. Like if we got a bullish candle here and a bullish candle next week, I would have to say that this is it, that you've confirmed that low, or at least can ride it for a reaction up to this range. Amazon's in a nice spot. Listen, here's the one I whiffed on, but I think I might get back into it. It's Microsoft. Okay, I said I got into it, then it checked back really hard. I think I overthought it. You know, I scratched it for like a $6-7 loss, and it was right back where I got in. And it's still valid. It's an HSI check back. It's a weekly. You want to wait 1 or 2 weeks? Maybe. You could. Two weekly bullish candles would set this off for yet another rally up off the level. Just read it. And again, speaking of reading harmonic patterns, we get the check back on type 2 for Microsoft. Now, here's the tricky thing. We did register this very oddball HSI signal. Normally, I would say let that have more time. but it's 2 of 2 on the deep crab for Microsoft. Again, I've said this on Friday. It's tricky tape. Treat a lot of things as reactions, but at least we are 2 of 2 on a lot of this stuff. Hey, big shout out to Mr. Mitch Ray. How are you? Happy Halloween. You and I need to catch up for sure. Mitch Ray's in the house, everybody. Give him a little couple props. This dude you have been on it, man. On it. Great. I've been catching a couple of them, a couple of your streams recently. Great to see you. Thanks for coming and showing up. Claire's asking, can we test the hop on Microsoft? Sure. But again, see how the 2-week thing, the 2-bar thing on HSI, we have weekly signals here. We have weekly signals, and yes, but this is where maybe waiting 2 bars might be effective. You've got the check back. You're in a really sweet spot. And listen, it's Microsoft. Okay, you're 30+% off the all-time highs. I want to be thinking contrarian. I want to be thinking buy the dip down here, but maybe we need to wait a week or two. Certainly crypto is taking a couple extra weeks, but now maybe it's a little more constructive than before. This is where I start to, when I read the signals, I turn off the news, I look at the retests and everything. What does it tell me? But the possibility for at least some stabilizations here, maybe a counter trend rally into the for a few weeks. I mean, we've been looking for it since the beginning of October, quite frankly. So it's close. And in terms of what you want to look for in all of this, I mean, look, even Meta, which is ugly. I mean, Meta is just a nasty chart. But Meta's just plopped itself on the hop level of a deep crab. All right, nothing there yet. Look, you're in the weirdest way, you've got a bearish HSI in this bullish hop zone. Look, there's the HSI. It's rolling over. Why is that overbought and these are oversold? Unless these are terribly oversold and these are going to expand. This is where, this is where waiting and being patient on it is helpful. I think, Facebook fails 97. Let's say you trade under 90. I don't think there's anything but the all-time 886 sitting here. There you go, all-time 886. I think it was $60. 59, yeah, 60. That's what's at stake. I mean, really, waiting here. Look, if we're at some massive generational low and you're going to wait a week or two on Microsoft, I don't think it's going to matter. We're respecting this knife that has fallen really, more like the guillotine that fell on Friday on some of these. Then there's Netflix, which is, did its little run, pumped up. But look at this monthly HSI on Netflix, little sneaky thing that, did check back. It checked back and exploded. So, okay, still plenty of time on that. But Netflix had this daily pattern that failed. Let me bring that back. Hold on. 1 second there. Yeah, I don't know why the bearish patterns keep turning off. Here we go. Here's the daily. But we're still waiting on a daily HSI for Netflix. There you go. So you got it, and now you got it. So that was what we were looking for on the check back. We were saying look to the hop, but it blasted through. There's the first HSI. Do I take the short? Probably not, because it's well above the hop level, but you might get a pause here. Don't be surprised. It's, you had the reaction down to target 1 at 212, and then it immediately got rejected back up. There's the first HSI. So pause. Yeah. Yep. I'm going to just Follow that. And then the other one is Apple. Look, Apple, again, patterns all over the place. But what are the patterns saying? This one was a bat pattern that now just checked back on the earnings announcement. The sucker checked back and continuing higher. Okay, it hasn't rolled over. And here's yet another situation where the HSI check back. Okay, you're looking there. You're looking at 152, but it blasts on through. First of all, you don't know how it's going to check back. It can blast through, it could kiss it, whatever. But what you do know is that if this is a part of a larger development, we're going to get 2 bearish days. And that those 2 days will at least give you a signal that this is rolling over. You're not there yet. I would say maybe Thursday. I don't know. Look, we're coming into this crunch time 6 weeks from now. And we get past Halloween here. We're going to get into probably the most, one of the most intense 2-3 weeks up until Thanksgiving, and then they're going to see how we finish it off. I mean, we could rally for the next 2 weeks and then go back to tax loss selling. I don't know. Am I dressed up as a bat, a shark, a crab, or a butterfly? No, I'm dressed up as a $100 bill. No, there's no dragon. Mitch is the dragon. I'm dressed up as a Benjamin Franklin. I'm Benjamin Franklin. I'm from Philadelphia, so we'll see. Or not, yeah. Anyway, you guys are funny. That's where we are. Look, we got to read these patterns. They're mixed. Some of them are getting crushed. Others are in good spots. Look at the Dow Diamonds. Here's something, again, before I jump to crypto. Remember what I was saying last week, that I was looking for a big candle through target 2? That's what we got. Take a look at last week's sessions. I literally painted this I think it was on Monday. I said, look for something like that. That's what we got. And now we're still waiting on HSI. And look what HSI has decided to do. Basically explode. So you're going to respect that until we register. Is this something bigger on the diamonds? Why? Because look, it's a back-to-back deep crab on the daily. You got the reaction up. You came back, you retested, didn't violate the hop, 288. Boy, I mean, spot on. And we would, normally look for it like this. We'd look for, hold on, wait for it. This would still be the 1-2, but we haven't even hit HSI yet. So ride that. I expect that to just continue to drift higher until maybe we go to target 2 on the deep crab. So maybe, and again, this is where we could look for it, a continued rally for a few more days or a week. Basically 335 is target 2. Let me remove this. Let's isolate, because again, it is a target 2. It's a type 2 for the deep crab. Take the butterfly off, just deep crab. 1, bang, 2, and look, we had perfect confirmation on the retest. There it was. Look, this has progressed nicely. This is one of the ones we looked at where we said, relatively speaking, yeah, the Dow's in a lot better shape than NASDAQ. I mean, pattern-wise, not only performance. But look, check back. And then I know I talked about this with the 1-2 here on the candles. Because 1-2, that's your second candle. All right, that's where you say, all right, something's got to be happening. Successful check back after a retest of the zone, and then you start to get going. That's been a helpful technique, folks, for me personally, especially on intraday futures. I can get a lot better clarity and then trying to catch a knife if I wait for that second candle. It's kind of like waiting for the second 6 or 8, on the craps table, Mitch, right? And then the 7 comes. We'll have to do that one again. We'll have to do a special craps session harmonic dice, if you will. Anyway, that's what's going on there. It's impressive stuff. It's ideal textbook harmonic pattern behavior. Santiago, you're no problem. I'll go to Nifty in a second when we get to TradingView. One or two more, folks. Speaking of Dow, look, markets that are trending higher. McDonald's, I find remarkable. Why? Because you're almost at all-time new highs. Let's go to monthly. Massive. That's going to end up being a massive engulfing. There you go. McDonald's. Look, this is the way to this is the difference between the stocks in this market currently. You've got tech that's anywhere from, I don't know, 50 to 90% smashed across the board, and then you've got stuff like this continuing a long-term uptrend, about to do pretty much a monthly bullish engulfing, where even in a short-term basis, McDonald's is going to do a 1618. McDonald's will just bump this breakout. It's actually a deep crab. It's tough to see, but 308. Super strong. I mean, you don't look, if this market was extremely weak, Microsoft would be much lower. AutoZone, that's one of the strongest stocks of all time. Casey's Evans saying AutoZone. But that's one example. Here's something we posted last week, and I think this thing might just explode, is Coca-Cola. Massive Gartley. Do we get the type 2 check back? And I talked about this last week, where we haven't registered HSI yet, maybe tomorrow. But the potential of this Gartley to be a big winner, and I mean into next year, is significant. If we could get the type 2 check back like we did in Microsoft and Apple and a lot of those that were there just a few weeks ago. Apple and Amazon were here a few weeks ago, and then they came back and finished the deal. And now they're here at 2 of 2. For Coca-Cola, if that came back and retested, you could be looking at a massive continuation low within this long-term uptrend. That's a beautiful chart. A lot going on there. I mean, that's where, put that one aside. Wait on that. Get that set up. Coke, McDonald's, those are, they're doing things, big things, breaking out things, which is not indicative of a total catastrophic decline. I think we're looking at select destruction. I mean, even here's the other one, Pepsi and Coke and blah, 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 those big consumer stocks. But that action on Pepsi is not bearish at all. If anything, you got what I like to call this inverse 3 drives. 1, 2, and then 3. Yeah, that can be a 5-wave count. You can look at that any way you want, but look, that's trending higher. And these usually lead to your 127, 1618 breakouts. Oh, Paris, I'm Coke over Pepsi. I don't know how people drink Pepsi. Pepsi makes its money on the snacks, though. But I'm not allowed to drink too much Coca-Cola anymore. It's too much sugar. Unless it's the good stuff. Anyway, let's get to crypto. Before I do, really quick, Nat Gas, folks, and we'll get into this more. It checked back on Friday. UNG here. Remember, we've been saying 6 on the bottom side, 9 on the top side. Nat Gas bottom exploded today. UNG checked back Friday. This is that's a tough one, okay? But that essentially nails 18 as the low. It's a shark. Now, this is another situation. A check back could have been tough to catch that. Maybe you wait for 2 green candles. You're probably going to get it well above the check back point. But another situation where there's still time in this. and off of the shark, okay, minimum retest at 26. That maybe tells me the whole zone is still in business. Like 18 on UNG is your floor going forward, and I mean into the winter. And the possibility of some point getting it back to 33 is likely. So there you go, and you're down towards that support. We'll do more of that tomorrow. I really think let's save energy for tomorrow. Crude oil, natural gas, some of them are just some disjointed charts, but nat gas is a good one to be following immediately. All right, let's get to the crypto. This is everything. We are at a heck of a spot after what happened over the weekend, and then you got the massive move in Doge. Surprising you could even get that kind of move, but it's on. And what it's telling me is that, look, there's a lingering interest. I think what you're looking at is more a lack of sellers, even though they're still selling, than real buyers. The buyers are there, the holding, sellers are starting to dry up. That's why when you get an explosive move in Doge and there's no sellers, you can get that kind of price movement. It traded 15 cents. That was 5 cents last week. But more importantly, that really printed some serious breakout on the long-term chart. Total crypto, we're going to need something like a Doge move. You're going to need a big day, week, month to set this thing off. And that could be coming, and it could take time. But you're getting here, you're getting to this point here, which is that this has been the primary constraint we've really negotiated all year. You can draw a simple downtrend off of the, what was that, November peak from last year, where, basically the 1 year anniversary. Remember a year ago? Wasn't that a lot more fun? Hey, Mitch, wasn't it a lot more fun a year ago? It seemed like it. And then we've gone through this excruciating downtrend, especially after the early April rollover. So, okay, you're all the way back down. You're getting to the right. Getting to the right of that downtrend. This then just intensifies what happens towards the end of the year. What is total crypto going to do? Bitcoin, Ethereum, do they have anything that's here? And I believe, the big pattern alone, software is generating a massive pattern. Okay, massive. I want to follow that. I'm not going to give up on it just because we've gone 3 months sideways. Can we go lower into the zone? Of course. But what's going on currently, and as we progress into next year, and I really want you to think about from this point to the right, because the struggle is really almost over. No matter what happens, and I mean that, because if we get to the right of this trend and let's say we continued lower, let's say maybe we come down and back test on the top end of this range, or we get into this where we challenge these lows again, the further right you get, and over the next many weeks and months, the stronger this will start to take shape. I mentioned that this 200-week average, that's something I've been looking at recently. Why? Because everybody's looking at it, and it's been an effective long-term support level, really most of the history. And you're there, you're scraping that. You've spent months there. But this downtrend line, okay, further right you get, the weaker this downtrend becomes. And if we could get a signal here or some kind of retest of the zones with a trigger, that's where maybe things could really start to take shape. Also, remember, by the end of the year, we'll be less than 500 days away from the halving of Bitcoin, where everyone's looking at those cycles. I think it's going to be March of 24. The whole thing is you want to be forward thinking. If we need to struggle for another 3 months or 6 months to get to that point where we can enter back into that bullish cycle, so be it. But be aware that we're starting to at least, we're surviving a majority of the storm. And the 1 year starting point for the halving is like here in March. And we usually do see stuff in Bitcoin. I'll jump to Bitcoin in a second, where it starts to run no matter what on that cycle alone, the 1 year prior. We need to be making a low. We need to be making some kind of low on total indices and scraping, or at least giving us some signals, bullish signals to the right. You go to total 3, which is an index we've been analyzing for a long time that has a few of these patterns back to back. Okay, what we want to be seeing is just hold these lows and construct in some kind of W formation, where we need to do something like this on the index. You need to see a W low, and it could be something like this. We got an HSI that just checked back now on the daily, and then get going again. We're going to see if this is this. We've got an HSI right now trying to come out. It's overbought at the moment, even though this small amount of movement. All right, but let it wiggle its way over the next 6 weeks. I think that's you almost probably want that more than you want an explosive move. You'd want to see a real constructive, steady uptrend from here, holding these lows, or just assuming that this, the low that took shape again, you formed an initial low around September 21, secondary test. That's where you want to be seeing this stuff stabilize. You could go sideways for a lot longer, but we do have some things that, as time progresses, continues to shape up. Here's the biggest one, Ethereum. Okay, and this has been a real impressive setup back to back. You had the Gartley. Okay, and we talked about the Gartley, the type 1 Gartley. Now we're going to go back for the type 2 return, because we have HSI. And could this be the 2 of 2 eventually? I said this last week. I think 1225, if we could come back and do something like that, that would be your 2 of 2. So this is about to tell us if it's just a reaction. HSI registered. What was that? That was Friday, Sunday, Saturday, Friday. No, it's Thursday. Checked back on Saturday. And so, perfect example of your 2 bar, waiting for 2 bars in the HSI direction. HSI triggers right there on the 27th, on Thursday. Then we had the check back, retest. That's where the divergence sets up. You get the price to go a little higher, but it's weaker in the indicator. And then you get 1-2 bearish candles. So Ethereum closes negative today. That would be the start of it for me. Could we get a retest, type 2? And there's your trend line. Would have to violate the trend line too, but look, they're coming together like that. Bitcoin, hey, it was over 21,000. Then it got smacked right back down. What is there, folks? What is there? Remember the shark? So we have things there. The price action looks funky. That you had this really sharp reverse reaction on the first one, and then an extended go sideways for a month. Look, you're in this shark zone. All right, really nice of the last 3 months, and we can forget about everything else, but that should get to target too. I talked about that last week, of possibility getting that up to that, not only there, but the 200-week, the underside of the 200-week average is up there. This is, and I'm going to go to something on a long term in a minute, but the small shark, okay, a delayed reaction. Can we get something to register off of there to get going? It's going sideways. Could it do a doge? Because listen, we have patterns. Look at all these patterns. And I go, there's the shark, and then the small shark. Here's the deep crab pattern. We talked about this last week. The small patterns inside the bigger zones. Yeah, that's a thing, and that's significant. It still needs to do the 1-2. The little shark has to do the reaction. That's over. Now, we're going to get the reversal off of the secondary test in the larger zone. That would be ideal. All of that still, though, contains the whole range, everything that we're going to consider. Maximal on the top side, 24.4. The bottom side is 18,000. You're still closer to the 18, obviously. I would say that it's even going to be more like 21.7 to 18 for a little while longer. And you need, the other thing about where we are is you need some big candles just to get started. So look, if you're sitting on the sides, you're waiting, there's plenty of time still in this, but I think that window will get shut as we get closer to the end of the year. And again, look, like total crypto and all of these, you have a massive downtrend that's trying to get violated, trying to break out, trying to stabilize. We're all scratching our butts here thinking, what's it doing at 20,000? I mean, why isn't it doing anything at 20,000? I want to say more like a better question is, what is it doing at 20,000? What can we look for? It's right. Yeah, there's so many harmonics, Mitch. Mitch is right. There's so many harmonics, but when do we get the bids? And this is more of a longer term deal. It's an issue with sometimes with harmonic patterns, and we're going to go to Doge because Doge has it. How do we handle that? I mean, we want to look for short-term overbought, oversold signals within those larger levels, but I still say be prepared. We're looking, on this downside level as more eventually of an opportunity. Maybe it's not there yet. Maybe it needs a trigger. Maybe it even comes lower, but I think we want to get prepared. Here's the other thing. Remember this, I showed this last week, and I think it started. Finally, sandbox, metaverse, for everybody that's crypto. Look, there's crypto, and then we bring in crypto harmonic behavior, and we want this kind of thing, big patterns, back-to-back patterns, as signals, as signposts of future action. We have this big bat in sand, okay? I had the confirmation all the way back here on the first test of the bat. Went sideways, did a lot of consolidation, came back, and gave us another pattern inside that zone. And there's the confirmation. So even for sandbox right now, let's take it one at a time. Sandbox, all right, perfect confirmation. You have the bat pattern on the retest, everything there around 74 cents. So this is reaction material, 106, 107. Minimum inside the zone. Any larger implication or possibility we'll deal with above 107. But it's up there. It's in a nice spot, back-to-back patterns. It's kind of like XRP was and still is. XRP, look, back-to-backs, crab, small bat. Did we get to target 1 on that? We almost got, that would have been a perfect type 1, type 2 to come back. Almost got to target 1 exactly on that first thrust. Can we come back to 37? Because again, by definition, just reading the pattern, that would be your last chance. It would be your second, it would be your type 2 completion. It's in a spot that it still needs time. XRP, I think, still needs time. That first push is pretty much done, but it's there. And what's the other one? I don't want to feature too many of the total S coins because, I want to look at some bigger stuff before I go to Doge. Here's Cosmos, folks. Look, Cosmos has this back-to-back phenomenon again, and here we are. Cosmos doing this kind of a thing. Deep crab at 1650. And then we just had a bullish bat pattern at 10 and change. So it looks like we want to come back and retest one more time. But these are the back-to-back patterns that are giving you better moves. Forget the whole history. I think you got to just kind of stay on where the pattern ranges are really defining the opportunities. Still huge moves. Forget where this was. Just get it to the right of the chart. And that had confirmation too. Look, there's the terminal bar. There's confirmation. And then 1, 2. Look, confirmation was there and bullish candle, and then it takes off. All right, Doge. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing, folks. I'm impressed. Doge, you know, what are we going to do with this thing? The software had an ABCD down here at 5.74, but I want to go to the longer term. I think, again, if you're going to do Doge, are you going to look at this? Plenty of time. All right, but I'm going to start looking myself. Is that broken the downtrend? And now we're to the right, because you can't, like, you don't stretch out the downtrend like that. You know, that's the real downtrend. So simple downtrend violated, going back over you know, a good year and a half, 18-month bear market over for now. And where could this go? What's a minimum 382? If that's the case, then 382, is this really going to happen? 33 cents? I don't know. I don't know, but I'm paying attention more to Doge now after last week than I have in over a year. Probably looking for this. Here we go. Weekly. Sorry, 4 hour? No. Hourly. Yep. So I'm just going to follow. I think this is busting out of the range, but I want to wait for the pullbacks. I think we're going to get another retest of, say, overbought, amplified, or HSI's got to register another HSI. Think of it this way. If that was a blow off top, at least for a short term, we probably would have rolled over more. But here's where the check back and just the recognition of HSI really helps. That's the last bullish reading. Okay, checks back, but 1, 2, you're starting to get green candles up here. You're starting to hold that. That's around 11.5 cents. That's where I'm looking currently. If this is going to maybe go sideways for a while and build, I think it's got the possibility to do that. It's something that, you know, I think a week ago, 2 weeks ago, you're looking at Doge, it's not going to do anything. But clearly, I think what people are looking at is they're thinking that Doge is going to get integrated with Twitter, because that's the only reason why that popped. As soon as Elon took over Twitter, the whole Doge as the Twitter payment system came back into play. Yep. It's you know, it's definitely something to consider, and the fact that people are going to be willing to throw money at it. I think as soon as Elon posts some kind of stupid Doge meme, this thing will pop 20 cents, 30 cents. 220, excuse me, not 20 or 30, but will pop to, that is 20, go to make a run at 20 cents. I think it's tradable. Look at some patterns here on the 5-minute, and this would probably, for those that are not in it yet, look at your 5-minute charts, please. You want an entry point on Doge? Get a 5-minute pattern. Get a couple 5-minute patterns. The last 5-minute pattern we had, again, Gartley at 11.5 cents. Not to mention, this is a shark, actually, that turned into a 5-0. I'm looking at 11.5 cents right now, and you guys can we're going to have to follow this. Sorry, I know a lot of people don't like Doge, but it's not, look, I don't control it. I don't control what the richest guy in the world wants to do and say, even though if this thing is garbage, it's a speculative vehicle. And this has kind of been let out of the bag, if you will. I mean, that pop, that big pop is the start. I think it's a lot like, I know people are going to really say, what are you talking about? Look, I think this pop is a lot like this pop. Okay? Still want to wait for something. So my Doge project. So I did do some things over the weekend. And I looked at all those Doge trades. I started it last week. Where can I find that? Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find it really quick. The Doge trades that I found an amazing chart where we outlined this about, I guess it was back in May. And where was it? Hold on. I'll find it. It was back in May 21 when he went on Saturday Night Live that most of you know that I jumped out of the trade and have been out of it mostly. I think I took 1 or 2 shots on the way down. I'll save it. I'll bring it back tomorrow. Well, because there's plenty of time for this. I'm no rush here. Plenty of time for this. But we outlined why this was actually a type 2. And I think let me see if I can find the feed. No, I'll have to come back. But we have a crab pattern. Don't forget, we do have this crab pattern. And that was 8.5 cents. So confirmation came in at 5.5 cents. But there's something else that I'll talk about tomorrow. I'll bring up that whole Doge feed and those Doge trades. There's coincidentally that thing decided to go now. And there are patterns there. If this was going to go off the crab, let me just trace it out, what the potential of this could be. Let's say this crab pattern is it. And it did this really crazy, look, there's where the crab actually completed. But there's the first place it hits, target 1. And then came all the way back down. Now in this case, the hop was 8.5 cents. Confirmation didn't come in until there. A really extended, ugly, it's an ugly formation, but if that's the case, and again, I'm just speculating here. I'm not saying this is, but if this crab pattern is what's activating the support, then target 2 is what we gun for, 25.5. It's just what point do we grab it? Do we grab it at 11.5? Do we get another shot at 8.5? I think that's where we have to be patient and see how it comes off here. But I do think making a run to 20 cents at a minimum is, in a speculative bump with that kind of action you've seen, and it's got that shape again, a feeling where this is kind of out of the bag, and you are to the right of the downtrend, so you're done with that. Just keep your eye on this. Daily, HSI. It is giving you an inflection now, so that could register and cap it for now before we get another shot. Go something like that, sideways, and then do another thrust later. But I would have to say that's the first step in the building process. Pretty significant. He's got my attention. Couple more. Look, we got to get to Ethereum Classic. Has got a couple things sitting on this ABCD right off the top. Weekly time frame, it's like this. There you go. Oh, where is it? Here's Ethereum Classic. There's another one to be watching out for. Look at how these patterns are shaping up, 2 of 2s. And they're reacting almost exactly. This is the type 2 butterfly. Almost hit XA to really fire off and set off the type 2. That's at 20 bucks. Perfect type 1 though. That was the whole deal from this summer. Everyone was saying, all right, well, all the miners are leaving Ethereum to go to Ethereum Classic. It was a type 1 reaction. That's all it was. And now we're coming back down. There's a 4-hour crab on Ethereum. Let's see. 4-hour? What? Bullish crab? Bearish crab? Bearish crab. Yeah, there you go. All right, someone's saying, who was saying that? I'm sorry, I can't read that. I can't read your name. I'm sorry, it's in Arabic. But I'll give you a shout out for saying, yeah, there is a deep crab in Ethereum. But that also matches up with the daily. Your daily Gartley, remember, it's another one. Wrong one. Daily Gartley. Daily Gartley. Sorry, where's the daily Gartley? There it is. This check back in the daily Gartley, yeah, that's very big to be following. And you have a 4-hour crab pattern. So yeah, if this stuff rolls over, comes in for that retest, okay, it's in the position to do so. The larger signal, this next retest though, would be dramatic. I mean, I would say, you know, if Ethereum came back to 1225, you'd be 2 of 2. And if you got confirmation down there around 1,200 bucks, that would be a major opportunity for a nice type 2 reversal. But I do agree that, you know, you could say or start to assume reaction's almost over there. 1 or 2 more. Someone's saying Gala. You're screaming Gala. I don't, you know, Gala. Okay, but that's a one-off. Gala, does it have anything here? Yeah, I mean, that's different. Right, that's different position than like say Ethereum is. I mean, that's a 99.9% loser. Hey, here's the one that we mentioned last week that, yeah, is shaping up. And I don't, you know, look, I don't have a preference on any of these, but then synthetics, massive bat pattern on the weekly. And we had this secondary HSI, check back, blah, 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 really early stages. Again, but another opportunity to take a shot down here. Last time when you registered, you went from 190 to 375. All right, here you're registering at 220. Even if we go back to 360, and it's some kind of bump, it's an area for another shot. All right, I will do the Nifty right as the last one. It's not a, what are you saying? There's a wrong crab? B point is at a 0.7. Oh, that's what you're saying. No. Ethereum. The question is the Ethereum, why is the Ethereum wrong? He's saying the Ethereum crab is wrong. It's not wrong. Look, the Ethereum on the 4-hour chart is not wrong. You're saying it's a 0.7, but no, it's not within the tolerance. It's out. All right, I see what you're saying. He's asking, why is this a deep crab? Or why is this a crab? Because B point is at a 70. Your B point's at a 69. Yeah, well, that's not within the tolerance of a butterfly. The butterfly tolerance is 786 plus minus 3%. Anything else defaults to crab. So that one's still okay. And again, for a pause situation, I'm okay with that, 1637. But I think the daily's stronger with the Gartley. The daily's stronger with the Gartley. This stuff's just going to take time. We're going to have to grind through it. You're going to have to, in the same way that for those that are sitting not in Doge, thinking that Doge could go to $1, I don't know about $1. But yeah, maybe 20 cents in a big speculative run up to target 2. Maybe 25 cents. But I'm going to watch it and hope to get, some kind of pullback. Again, 11.5. But it's really more about where it registers. Where is HSI going to register? I mean, you got your last HSI on the hourly was bullish at 11.5 cents. And then I'll stick to the 5-minute time frame. Show me little mini patterns too. Like I said, look, you can day trade this. Look at those. Those are huge swings. 10% moves there from 11.5 cents to 12 and change, or at to 13. It's another way to look at Doge. But the 5-minute chart's probably the way to go for Doge from now on. Get it on. Let's come back to the rest tomorrow. I think that's enough. A lot going on. And again, I think the narratives, the news is horrible. Everything that's going on is a scary environment. We've been dealing with it all year. Okay, all year we've been dealing with this, but I think realize let's get out of this year. Let's analyze how these are breaking out of the downtrend from this year, and let's see which ones are going to be shaping up either now for a signal or maybe in the next 6-8 weeks to trigger. But they're going to make more progress the further they get out. We just got to get out of this year. My concern is how do all these markets deal with tax loss selling? The shorts, they're going to have to cover. The longs are going to have to sell taxes. They're going to have to sell positions for tax loss benefits, tax harvesting, and then reconnoiter come January 1. But most of that will happen in the next 30, 40 days because of the whole tax loss rules, where a month from now will be the end of November. And then people will be positioning, accordingly once we get into that time window. For crypto, again, it is about more time, but I think let's see what Ethereum does. Let's see what Doge does on the speculative side. Okay, and then the final one, this is the one I did want to mention, was Binance Coin, which is probably becoming, true crypto. True representation of crypto is becoming, I think, the standout. And look what this did. We've been talking about Binance Coin for a long time, and it did the type 2. I'm glad I caught this before I left today. Remember, everybody that's here knows 256.70 has been the number. If we broke down, no, but we got the HSI bullish. And since then, we've been trending up there. Now, look what happened when we go and retested the zone. Okay? We signal there, we check back, but we still have not formed one bearish candle. Now, we got rejected at the hop. We're at the hop at 330. All right? That is everything. If you see a bearish candle in the next 24 hours, it's because you're at the hop. We'll come back tomorrow, see where this finishes up, or see how tomorrow is, because if this is just the finish of the type 2 on that bat pattern, it could be. All right, it stops right here, right now. But that's your strongest crypto out of everything. Follow it. Again, we've been saying that for a long time. But look at what's going on the indicators for Binance Coin. Again, this is as a barometer for crypto in general. Amplified's expanding. Harmonic Strength Index expanding. Your relative strength readings are continuing to go higher, so this does not stop until that rolls over, and that could be a couple of days. This could be up for another 2 or 3 days. It's pretty favorable for crypto in general to get Binance out of that hole, but it's got to fail this pattern to set up the larger deal. The larger deal is an alternate bat. Target 1's 382. but at least you would get things moving. And again, Binance Coin, run the downtrend line. This is why these are so critical for everything you're assessing. I mean, we can't stretch it out more than, you want to encompass all those downtrends from this year, and you're clearly to the right of that. That's why Binance Coin has been so significant and will be. So keep an eye on it, because these are all going to pop off probably individually. They might start to go collectively, but to get off of these lows, they're going to do more like individual pop-offs like you see with Cosmos and Doge and Binance Coin and others. But we'll get back here on Tuesday. So big shout out. Again, thanks everybody for showing up today. Thursday, we'll be back and give a couple more Volume 2s away. So if you have any questions, get with me. And big shout out to Mitch for showing up today. Thanks, Mitch. Let's talk soon. Everyone, have a great one. As always, go get them. Come on back tomorrow, 12 noon. Have a great one.